for YouTube. Okay, so hey there, I'm Leela Thomasone, love stylist and marriage alchemist. Today is my birthday. Happy birthday to me. I am 42 years old today. Thank you for joining me and helping me celebrate. I had an amazing day with my family. It was very relaxing. Thank you. Schools were actually closed today because of icy weather, so we all got to sleep in late, which was perfect. My husband brought me coffee and breakfast in bed and took my girls out shopping for gifts for me, and they were super sweet. Hey there in Philadelphia. I'm doing well. How are you? So they wrapped them up and they wrote me cards and they were so excited for me to unwrap them. And then later we went downtown to the art museum where my daughter was singing Christmas carols with her choir. So that was really cute. We sang Christmas carols and we went around to try out some good food. Thank you for the birthday wishes. And we heard some music playing at a restaurant. And so we're back home now, and my husband has some kind of surprise trip planned for us tomorrow. I don't know what it is, so that's super exciting. So anyway, thank you for the hearts. Thank you for subscribing and sharing and liking and all that, retweeting. But I've been talking lately about my story and how I made it here to 42 with a super sweet family and the love of my life and really a second chance at life. I came out of a horrific first marriage and really had to transform my life. But sort of a main catalyst for that was the decision to remarry. So I did a video about my glow up, which has gotten a lot of response. But I've also mentioned that I really transformed my image because I had decided I wanted to get remarried. So that was behind really wanting to look good and feel good because I wanted to find not just an okay guy, but my dream guy that I would just be head over heels for because I have two girls, and when I was at my lowest point, they were the reason that I couldn't give up. And I knew that anything less than the love of my life would really be setting a bad example for them, and that I just wouldn't want them to emulate settling for someone just because you didn't want to be alone. And why did I want to get remarried? Why did I really think that would be the best thing for my girls? Because I realized that they weren't going to learn how to love other people by how I loved them. They were going to learn from how I loved my husband. And since I wasn't married anymore, obviously their dad and I did not set the best example for them. And what made sense to me was that you pick up patterns from your parents unconsciously, right? A lot of people think that they can avoid dating and avoid remarrying in hopes of not imprinting their kids with unhealthy patterns. But that's just not true because kids are sponges and they're learning from their parents even if one of them isn't around. So if you're not in a healthy relationship, they are learning from that. So I got a question regarding that story and how picking up unhealthy patterns from our parents can impact our future relationship with our spouse. So the question was about the video, that bit of those who don't get love demonstrated at home by parents, hence growing up not knowing how to go about it. Sorry, I'm just trying, these are the exact words, I'm just trying to read it. I wish you went further inside and cracked it. Okay, so I got another question. Could a divorce impact kids like PTSD? Sure. Yeah, definitely could. Definitely could. Myself, I went through a very high conflict divorce, so that's definitely affected my kids, and that's been something that I've had to handle with them and really work a lot on. So I would be happy to do more videos on that subject as well. But just, so let me finish this question. Many come into marriage unstructured and end up hurting those structured. It's worse if the unstructured is the man. This is still the question. I meant a man-woman not well socialized on love or sexual matters from childhood are not well equipped and pose risk to better equipped ones. That's the structuring. The very reason you went into second marriage for sake of your two lovely daughters. You wanted better. Such gaps is what creates nasty marriages. It's good you are addressing them and emphasizing also that people can be retrained into better love and sexual partners as you are now doing. Your works will save millions as the marriage institution experiencing a cyclone of trouble. So that was the question I got, and I really appreciate that. And thank you so much for the kind words. I don't know about millions. Hopefully, that would be amazing. I've gotten such great feedback this week, and I'm so humbled and grateful for being able to touch so many people's lives. And I love the questions, so keep them coming, okay? I'm going to write down the one about PTSD. Now, divorce causing PTSD. So just what came to mind immediately about that is it's not the divorce per se, right? It's really how we handle it. Divorce is pretty neutral. It's kind of a tool. And it's really the relationship with the parents that's going to be key. So that's a little sneak peek to the answer to that. But as far as the one that I got earlier today, I think it was today I got it. So the response on that, yes, I am divorced. The response on that question, hopefully y'all understand what is being asked. It's that, say one partner from a marriage is coming from a background where they had an unstructured example from their parents, and they marry someone who had more structure, and the gap between the two would be destructive to the marriage. That's what the question is saying. So I'm probably going to ruffle a few feathers, but I don't really believe in people being mismatched in terms of their development and their ability to love. So I don't agree with the premise of the question. So let me go further. We always attract the people that need to be in our lives at a particular time because we need them to be our mirror and help us learn certain lessons. So sure, we come into relationships with different levels of understanding, but we're also matched and never better or worse than our partner. We may unmatch with them at some point once we have learned what we needed to learn from them. So in my response to the question, I've seen marriages turn around drastically because the woman got help and improved, and I've seen marriages turn around drastically, just single-handedly, the man got help and fixed it. So it doesn't seem to matter whether it's the man or the woman getting help, as far as I can tell. What doesn't work is when the couple goes in for marriage counseling and each are told what the other one is doing wrong and what the other person needs to do to fix the marriage. Because the result of that is blaming each other and a standoff. No one's ready to take the first step because they're both bitter and resentful of what the other person has done wrong and needs to pay for. So the key is when either partner, or maybe both in rare circumstances, are able to seek help individually for themselves, and that help does not require anything of the other partner in terms of self-development. So when at least one person completely gives up on controlling and blaming the other person and completely accepts responsibility for him or herself, that's when you see real change in the marriage. So people can be retrained into being better partners and spouses, but that only happens when they're the ones seeking help. Does that make sense? Thank you for the birthday wishes. Appreciate that. So is that making sense that only the person seeking help can improve the marriage and fix it? Not the one who thinks that the other person needs to change and improve in order for the marriage to be fixed. Do you understand what I'm saying? So if you're the husband and you get help for what you need to do to improve the marriage improves. Or if you're the wife and you get help for what you need to do to improve the marriage, things can improve like night and day. And what will guarantee that the marriage doesn't improve is continuing to blame your spouse for what's wrong in the marriage and thinking that they need to change to fix it. That is guaranteed failure right there. So I hope that makes sense to the person that asked the question. And please ask more if it's not clear, and I'd be happy to clarify. So let me know in the comments what's coming up for you and what you're feeling when you're hearing this message, if this is resonating with you or not. What is coming up as you hear this? So yeah, let me know. And if you're serious about improving your marriage, ironically, even if the marriage ends, because sometimes that is what needs to happen, you taking responsibility is going to improve your life either way. Whether you stay married or not, you are going to improve your life and go on to being happier. So I even see divorced people's relationships improve, because just because you get divorced does not mean you no longer have to be in a relationship and learn how to accept each other's existence on this planet. If you have kids, you are going to need to keep learning until the lesson has processed and resolved. And you know what? Even if you're not married, or even if you don't have children with the person that you're married to and having problems with, and you divorce from them, you're going to have the same problems with the next person until you learn how to deal with the lesson that that person is trying to teach you by that match and by that marriage. The reason why it's come along into your life, until you learn that lesson. So you might as well learn how to get along with that person, even if you think you want to divorce them. You need to learn how to get along with them in order to move on and have a happy marriage with the next person. Is that making sense? So this has happened to me. It's been a long road. It's very difficult, but very important. And so I also work with a lot of blended families and divorced people and people going through divorce. So if you're serious about improving your life, you're going to need to take responsibility. And maybe that doesn't fully make sense. A lot of people are just not ready to hear that there's even a possibility to completely take responsibility for a bad marriage. And that's totally okay. It may take some assistance to process it, because clearly there's a reason that you ended up in the messy relationship. So it's going to take some work to untangle that. So I'm happy to help with that. I have a few spots left on my calendar to take on a few more private clients for the new year. And if you want to start taking control of your life, I am offering a special for my birthday that if you schedule a free connection call with me by the end of Friday, December 20th, I will give you 20% off of your private mentoring package with me for 2020. So the link for my schedule will be in the description. So thank you for joining me. If anyone has any questions, go ahead. I'd be glad to answer them. But if not, then I will see you next time. And thank you again for the birthday wishes. So so I did get a question. Going on 38 years married, both being Christians help, but you have to put work into it. Yes, well, congratulations on a happy marriage. That's wonderful. I saw a tweet today that said that a happy marriage is 100% on purpose. There's no accidents about it. So I totally agree with that, and it all can be learned. You can purposely learn how to have a good marriage. So don't be afraid to ask for help until you find those answers. And we still have date nights. Oh, good. Yes, very important. So the other question I got was about whether a divorce could cause PTSD. And what I said was that divorce itself is neutral. It's a tool. Sometimes that you need to unmatch with someone, and that is not the cause of trauma. The cause of trauma for children is the relationship that they have with their parents and how their parents handle their interactions with their children. So that, and the beautiful thing about these relationships, and especially with children, is that you always get another chance. There's going to be so many opportunities. Every time you interact with your children is an opportunity to do it right and do it better. So that's really a beautiful thing. And someone was reading about attachment styles. Yep. There's been some research that, because I know it's another common misconception that people think that you have to be healthy before you can get into a healthy relationship. And to some degree that's true, but we're always all going to have more growing to do. So you can't really grow completely until you've gotten into that relationship, because the relationship is going to help you grow, because that connection and the deep bonding that you do in an intimate relationship is how you can pull apart those deep wounds and start healing them. It's something you just can't do by yourself. Someone else asked another question. If you could repeat that, what was it? Oh, it was about growing apart. Sometimes people just grow apart. I think in general, and I, it's hard to answer in generalities. I always like to get specifics and answer, your specific situation. But in general, I think growing apart is not really valid. So I know I've got a lot of unpopular opinions today, but that's what I'm here for, because it's a different perspective and you always need to know what you don't know, right? So you can't just keep doing the same thing all the time if you want to grow. So as far as growing apart, no, I think that's generally an excuse for not wanting to do the work to understand yourself and understand why you're having issues with your spouse, and coming back to understanding why you fell in love with them in the first place. So thank you so much for joining me. If there's not any other questions, then I will sign off for now. Thank you all for the birthday wishes. I really, really do appreciate that. And thank you for following me on Twitter and YouTube and Facebook. I am Leela Thomasone, love stylist and marriage alchemist. And sorry for the bouncy camera work here. But limitlessbyleela.com is my website. And again, I will put the link in the description for the free connection call with me. So I would love to meet with you and talk about your specific situation and see if I can help. So have a great night and a great weekend. Bye.